10th. This meeting is being televised by Chelmsford Telemedia and being conducted remotely. Public can comment by calling 1-646-558-8656 or by clicking the following link. When you get on the site, you'll be able to see the link because I'm not going to read that. And that's it on that. The first thing we have up, seeing as, well, the first thing I should do is congratulate Mike and Nan for successfully winning the tough race. And with that being said, we got to do a change of guards here. So does anybody out there have anything? My thoughts on it are kind of, we got to get a new chair on it. We got a few people here that haven't been chair yet, and I don't know if they have interest in it or not, or if not, that's fine. And if somebody wants to start nominating people, now would be the time to do it.
Well, I would be glad to.
Go ahead, Mike.
I would like to nominate Henry Parley for chair.
Okay, we got a second?
I'll second.
And I'll
Okay,
accept it.
all right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Very good. You get the ball, Henry.
All right, do I have a nomination for a vice chair?
Make a nomination.
Sure.
Can I nominate Tim Shanahan for vice chair?
Do I have a second?
I'll second. Oh,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye. And I hope you want it, Tim. He's frozen in time. He wants it.
I think he's muted.
All right. I'm looking for a nomination for the secretary.
I'd like to nominate Mike Walsh.
I have a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You want it, Mike?
Yeah, I guess I'll dive in.
Welcome to the fun.
All right. I think that's, well, we've got a whole bunch of committees, but how are we going to handle that, Evan?
Why don't we put it on for the next agenda?
I think that's the best way to handle it.
We'll email out a list and board members can begin thinking about where they may want to be appointed to.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Well, I don't have my agenda in front of me that's up there looking for. What's the first thing coming up?
It's 9 Acton.
And that's just a review of the paperwork.
Yeah.
I took a look through it. I didn't see many problems. I think Mike had an issue.
Me?
Yep.
Well, I just clarified, I just was clarifying, the vote was a 5-2 and not a 4-3
Yeah.
vote. But apparently the minutes say 5-2. And so that was the only question I had
Yep.
on that.
Anybody else have any questions? I would entertain a motion. If somebody feels like giving one.
Well, I would move to approve the decision as drafted.
Second it.
As annotated tonight.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? That's it. All right, 235 Littleton Road Realty Trust. Construction of a 8-unit multifamily. Structure and associated site improvements located on newly created lot. Do we have any comments on this?
I'll give a motion to accept it if you want.
All right, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we're moving right along. New public hearing. 35 Devonshire Crossing. Peter, and I'm gonna, will butcher his last name. I won't even try. Seeking a special permit under 19511 accessory structure, construction of a 60 by 40 detached garage with over 900 square feet on a conforming lot and any other relief deemed necessary. We have somebody here to give the presentation.
Colleen, is the applicant here? Is the applicant?
He's out there. I haven't, I can't unmute him.
Yes, I'm here. I didn't prepare a presentation.
Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, I'm just looking to build a boat garage at the rear of my property. It's specifically 40 feet by 60 feet. No utilities. Basically just a open bay with a door.
Right, does anybody have any questions?
I got just one question on it. The setback on the side yard setback is supposed to meet zoning. Is there a reason why you can't move it over another 10 or 12 feet?
You're talking about the state, the city fence from the highway?
Yes.
I mean, I could. I'm just trying to keep it out of the tree line.
Right.
Did this application go to the zoning board?
It did, yes.
It was withdrawn.
Oh, withdrawn, okay.
So I think it would have to go to ZBA if he kept it where it is, correct?
Yes,
It'd probably be quicker and easier for you to move it over.
Okay, I'll move it over.
That's a decision you have to make, though. We have to have drawings and.
I mean, I can move it over, but we're gonna lose about 10 more trees.
I'll pass it around. Does anybody else on the board have any questions? Nancy?
Is there a fence on your property along Route 3 or on the Route 3 property?
Yes, there's the state fence or the city fence and my own picket fence.
You know, I'm not seeing a problem with the reduced setback, but it would have to go to ZBA.
Yeah.
Mike Raisback, do you have any questions?
No, I just agree. I don't see a problem with it, but I do believe it needs to go to ZBA.
Mike Walsh?
The only question I have is what's the height of the structure at the peak?
20 feet.
Okay. Is it a flat roof or a peak roof?
No, it's peaked. The sidewalls are 18 feet and the top of the peak is 2 feet higher.
Oh, it is. Okay. And, okay. I agree with everyone else. I'm okay with the location as long as it goes in front of the ZBA.
Donald?
Bueller?
We'll try Tim. Tim, do you have any questions?
No, I have no questions. I'm okay.
Nope, Donald's all right. Donald, you have any questions or comments?
No question.
All right, the applicant, it's basically, we can't do anything for you unless it has to go in front of the ZBA to be that close to the property line.
So either I do that or I move it? Is that what we're saying?
Basically your choices, yep.
All right, so I'm looking at another couple months to build this. We're looking at. I've been trying to build this since November.
Oh, you
Yeah,
can yeah.
may I make a suggestion?
Sure.
You know, if it's clear within this public hearing that the applicant is going to move the structure to comply with the required setback, then the board likely could consider granting it with the condition that the revised plan be submitted as part of the building permit. Assuming that you don't want to see a revised plan showing the compliant setback.
No, that's fine. I'll shift it over 10 feet.
Yeah, we could also approve it contingent upon approval by the ZBA.
Yeah, but it sounds like the applicant, it doesn't want to go to the zoning board and is willing to move the structure to comply.
If that's what the applicant's willing for, is that what you want, Peter?
Whatever's quicker. I mean, I got the steel sitting in my yard.
All right, let's do it. All
So
right,
I'm moving to 10 feet.
moving to 10 feet.
Okay.
I believe
motion to
I believe the setback may be 25 feet, but I'll confirm with the applicant tomorrow. But I think your motion should be, granting to approve with the condition that it complies with the side yard setback.
Yeah,
Okay. I'll give you
I think
a
he needs
motion
have
to
it
approve.
comply- I think the contingency needs to be that it complies with both the side yard and rear yard setback, because as they move it, that rear yard setback is going to shift as well.
Correct.
Henry,
Mike?
Are there any, if this is a public hearing, are there any abutters or anyone else speaking about this? Before we make a decision?
Don't hear any. Colleen, there's nobody waiting?
Not for this one, no.
All right,
All right, you want a motion now?
I'll go for a motion now.
All right, make a motion to approve,
We have to close the hearing first.
make a motion to close the public hearing.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can you do a roll call on the votes, please?
Okay. So you, on that vote, Glenn, you're an aye.
Aye.
Nancy,
Aye.
Mike Walsh,
Aye.
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
all right. Not me. Unanimous. All right, Glenn, now you can make your second motion.
All right, we'll give you a motion to approve with the condition that it meets both side and rear setbacks from moving the building over. And that plan is submitted prior to issuance of a building permit. All right, would you rather have it submitted with the building permit application? Probably easier like that, have it submitted with the application.
Yeah,
That is fine.
Mike Raisback, are you seconding this?
I'm seconding.
All right, we gotta do a roll call. Glenn, I guess you're gonna vote for your thing that you just
I'll
approved.
give it an aye.
Aye, Mike Walsh,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Mike Raisback,
Aye.
Nancy,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
and I'll do it too. Aye, aye, aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. All right. Colleen, if you put the agenda back up for me.
Sure.
Colleen, you got the wrong screen.
What screen do I have?
You have Pile Drive open.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Henry's looking for the agenda. You have Pile Drive open. Henry's looking for the agenda.
And now I'm sorry. Hold on.
Henry, you just want someone to read the legal ad?
Mike Walsh, can you read that in for me?
Yeah, I got it right here. So Lori Masso, 8 Crab Apple Lane, M/P 70-294-7 in RB District, Single Family Resident District, is seeking a special permit under 195-11 accessory structures to conduct a new 30-foot by 44 feet car garage that is over the 900 square foot on a non-conforming lot and any other relief deemed necessary. Public hearing.
Colleen, you got Pile Drive back on.
Jesus, I'm sorry.
Do we have any letters to go with that?
So we have, let's see here. We got the application, legal notice that we have. We don't have to read the legal notice, do we?
No, you already did.
Okay. So
I believe
then,
one letter came in. It was town engineer. Colleen, I believe, has a copy of it.
yeah.
It's not in your packet. It came in today.
Oh, it did. Okay.
Christina, do you have that handy in front of you?
Yeah, Christina, if you can
There
read
it
it.
is right
the
there.
letter.
Okay, it's on the screen.
All right, Mike, can you read that? Let's see it.
I just read the top part of that. This is the application. Attaches an application that has been submitted for June 10th, Board of Appeals meeting. All right, so, and then it says, please submit comments and recommendations to the Board of Appeals by June 4th. Engineering Department, I believe that's Christina's Papadopoulos' signature. Engineering notes. One is erosion control devices must retain the sediment on site. These must be installed prior to any work or demolition. 2, consideration should be made to install roof drain dry wells or equivalent to infiltrate roof runoff. Is there another page to this?
Oh, that's it.
So Evan, there is a letter that's in here. I don't know who it's from.
Take from the applicant.
So I can read that?
You don't need to let the applicant present.
Okay.
Do we have the applicant?
Hi, Dave Taylor here. I'm the husband, so sorry, wrong last name, but I'm the husband. Good evening. So we're looking to build, as it says, a 30 by 44 car garage, the far back of the property. We do have cars like scattered, or classic cars, I should say, scattered across 3 states, and I'm trying to get them all at the house. We do have a shed that was on property that is now gone as of this past Saturday, because we'll no longer need that, because everything from the shed can go in the car garage. Where the shed was is going to be graded and seeded. And we actually do have in with the builder's plans, the erosion control that the engineer made there. So we're on the same page there. And I understand the erosion control stuff as well, because we're right near the conservation zone or the wetland buffer. So I knew that was going to be coming too. I was in front of the Board of Appeals last week. So the plan that's actually here, as I'm looking at it, that's been modified. Colleen has the new plan. I emailed it to her the other day. We did move it over another 5 feet, so it's 20 feet off. And I think I sent that to you, right, Colleen? Yeah, I know I sent that to her. So we have a new plot plan stamped. Yeah, so that's what I got.
I'm sorry, Dave. I do have that plan. It just was not in the show. Sorry.
Okay,
But just to clarify, what did the zoning board approve?
20 feet.
Okay, and that's what your revised plan is showing?
Exactly, yep. So it's 20 feet and we moved it up towards the house as well to keep it out of the wetland buffer on the plans as well. So just to make that clear.
All right, does any board members have any comments?
Nothing.
Let's start with Mike Walsh.
I'd like,
Do we have any letter or written documentation from the zoning board that they have approved this?
Maybe a question for you, Evan.
Colleen attends those meetings.
Yes, I'm actually in the process of writing that decision.
Okay. I have no other questions.
Nancy,
like to see the plan or findings, one or the other, but right now, what I'm looking at doesn't look to me like something I can approve yet.
I think you're just approving the square footage.
So approve this subject to Z
You're breaking out again.
of the location.
So Nancy, just so I can get it out there, because you keep breaking out, you want to take it and approve this pending CBA approval.
That's correct, yes.
All right. Mike Raisbeck.
I'm good with that. And I mean, I don't see anything fundamentally wrong with this.
All right. Don.
No questions. Comments.
Tim.
I'm good with that. No questions.
Glenn.
I'm good.
I would entertain a motion.
Give you a motion to approve.
We need to close the hearing first.
Close the hearing.
Oh, yep, close the public hearing.
A
You have a
second.
Second. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Now I'm looking for a motion.
All right, give you a motion to approve contingent upon the verification of the ZBA approval.
Do I have a second?
Second,
All those, roll call. Glenn.
Yep, aye.
Mike Walsh. Don Van Dyne.
Aye.
Mike Raisbeck.
Aye.
Nancy.
aye.
Tim.
Tim's aye.
And I'm an aye too.
I was on mute, but I'm an aye.
Yeah. All right.
All right, thank you, gentlemen and ladies.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Mike, what do we have next?
So you have a continued public hearing, 1 UPS Road. Would you like me to, Evan, do I read the description again?
No, you don't need to.
Okay. And this is for the site plan review.
Okay. Do we have any other letters or anything else brought in over this last 2 weeks?
I don't believe there are any new letters.
You do have a new drawing, I think, right?
Yeah, the applicants have joined us. They should be able to update the board accordingly.
All right. We'll hear from the applicant.
Good evening, everybody. Can everyone hear me all right?
Yeah.
Great. So following the hearing on May 27th, UPS has taken a very hard look at the comments and concerns discussed by the board and its neighbors. During the last hearing, it was also mentioned that several letters of concern had actually been submitted by town residents. However, were not read during the meeting due to time constraints. UPS has made it a point to review all of those letters as well. In fielding all this information, it seems clear to UPS that there were two notable issues. The first of which being unwanted truck traffic accidentally venturing into the neighborhood. As discussed, this is caused by departing trucks accidentally turning left out of UPS Road and arriving trucks failing to make the left into UPS Road. The second notable issue was the operational noise concerns, in particular for those residents along Jennifer Lane. So immediately following the May 27th hearing, UPS has undertaken several steps to attempt to address these issues. The first of which being UPS has contacted its contract carriers to make it known that they will not be permitted down Brick Hill Road and into neighboring residences. Number two, UPS has also installed a highway traffic sign that mandates that all truck traffic turn left into UPS's property. This sign is vastly more noticeable than other existing signages. Number three, UPS had scheduled a police detail to run from June 6th to June 9th from 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. This was positioned on the corner of Brick Hill Road and Sprague Avenue. This detail had the ability to ticket any UPS trucks or any trucks that are along the truck exclusion area. Number four, UPS has revised, and Evan just mentioned it, the landscaping plan, wherein we removed the sumac species concerns that were noted by the board last time. In addition, we've increased the height of the fence along Jennifer Lane. UPS would also like to make it known that they'd be willing to apply a sound dampening material to the fence, in particular along the span of property that's shared with Jennifer Lane. A couple other items that UPS would like to note. We are not interested in pursuing any lights or traffic mitigation beyond the existing police detail along Route 129 intersection. And UPS is willing to make a donation to the 53G fund for the associated amount of parking spaces that we are proposing to install. So we hope that these steps display an effort to attempt to address the concerns at the last hearing, and we're happy to discuss any additional questions or concerns that the board might have.
All right, thank you very much. Nancy, you have any questions?
I do not, and I would like to thank them changing the landscaping plan materials.
Mike Raisbeck. Any questions?
Not at this point. I think I'd like to hear from some of the public that I think are lined up.
Mike Walsh, any questions?
The only question I have is they mentioned extending the height of the fence along Jennifer Lane. What about the rest of the way down where the other properties back up to? Have you considered that at all, of extending it all the way down that whole side of the property?
I think proximity and sight lines would kind of negate a few feet difference in the fence height, just because Jennifer Lane is such a close neighboring resident that we felt that would probably have the most benefit.
Tim, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions right now.
Hank Cool was here for a minute. I saw his picture there, but he's gone again. Don, any questions?
Yeah, Mr. President, can you give us or elaborate a little bit more about that detail in June?
Yeah, it was actually for the last 3 days. It was from June 6th to June 9th. Well, yeah, and it took place from 7 p.m. till 3 a.m. Basically, had a officer stationed on the corner of Brookhill and Sprague Avenue, just checking to see if any errant delivery trucks were missing their turns and venturing into the neighborhood. They had, I guess I'll say, the authority to ticket them as needed for any of the trucks that would venture into the exclusion area.
What was the result of that?
We're actually still we're still in the process of receiving the report from the department.
Do you know if tickets were issued?
I do not.
Is that, on behalf of the board, is that something that you would be willing to continue on a routine or a regular basis? As a means of continuing mitigation and enforcement matters?
I think it's something we'd be willing to continue. In terms of durations and frequencies, I believe that's something we'd be willing to discuss.
Great. Glenn?
I'm good. I have no questions.
Oh, Hank's back. Hank?
Yeah, sorry I'm late.
Colleen, can you please make a note that Colleen joined the meeting and that Hank joined the meeting? UPS, do you have any questions, concerns? Did you hear the presentation you just gave?
I missed most of it, but my only concern was for the neighbors. I don't know if you touched upon it, the sound barriers around the lot. If that's going to happen.
I'd like, my question to you is, what is that sound dampening material that you were talking about putting on the fence?
We are currently looking at a few different options. We'd be happy to share specifications and such of those options to the board. Right now, it would just be an application to, our basic chain link fence specification. So happy to share those once we have them ready.
Because, chain link fence won't give you much noise detection, that's for sure.
Exactly. That's why adding some kind of plane. Go ahead.
I was thinking more like the highway barriers, something like that type of fencing or wall. I don't know if that would be feasible, for you.
All right. Colleen, I'm sure we've got a bunch of people waiting.
Yes, we do. So the first one, are you calling for public input?
Calling for public input.
Okay, Krishna is the first one.
Hi, good evening, all the board members. I live on Jennifer Lane, and this parking lot is coming right at my back door. So I can see the parking lot and everything. And it's about 170 feet from my property. And I really like to have some kind of sound barriers there. Without that, it's going to be tough for us because I can hear a lot of noises. And I mean, sometimes it's unbearable. I mean, to be honest with you, we have no problem. I mean, we're not complaining a lot. We like to work with UPS and see what they can do, especially the whole house rattles sometimes. It's like it's mini earthquake sometimes, when they disengage those trucks or whatever they do there. So we really need some help from the board to get that kind of stuff completely negated with this process, And also I would like to know what type of plantations they're going to do, because they're going to cut down some trees, and I really like some plantations that can support this sound stuff and, help us out.
Okay.
And one other thing I would like to say, I heard Mr. Doug saying that they're ticketing during certain time frames, but at nighttime, I see that prime truck still going around at like 9, 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. I don't even remember. I saw the truck passing by in Jennifer on Brooklyn Road.
I'm not sure they have anything to do with Amazon Prime, but.
No, not Amazon Prime. It's the Prime company or whatever it is. It's a big 18-footer going around.
Yeah.
It's 18-footer at night, 10 o'clock. I think last time one of the Moore Street resident or somebody mentioned about that too.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. And please make sure that I'm the one who's getting affected most out of this right now.
Mike Walsh.
We ask him what his address is.
Pardon?
Jennifer Lane.
What address? Number?
4 Jennifer Lane.
4 Jennifer Lane. All right, that'd be great.
Yeah.
If they could just give their address too, that'd be great.
Right behind, sir, where you have the National Grid construction is going on right now.
Yep.
Right at my house area. So I'm right facing. National Grid is 10 feet from my property line.
I see it. I got it on the GPS right now. System. Yeah, you get a lot of property against them.
Right. Yeah, and this is coming right behind that National Grid house where they're building. So National Grid took down like 3-4 trees already, and now on top of it, UPS is going to cut down some more trees, and it's all the noise is coming into the house now.
Krishna, this is Casey from UPS. I just wanted to make a comment. If you did look at the drawings, and I appreciate all your frank and honest statements, we are adding that 40-foot buffer, which will increase the amount of trees on your property line. And then whatever we can do on that sound dampening high fence, I think the 40-foot buffer, the additional trees, and then that fence with the acoustical dampening material, it may actually alleviate a lot of the concerns. Right now, you don't have as many trees on our property line as you are going to have after the construction.
I really appreciate that, Casey, but it's going to take a few years for these trees to grow and but in the meantime, how do you expect us to survive?
All right. Is there any other people out there to make comments? And I'm sorry, I should have got your address and information first.
Yeah, that's fine, sir. No problem. I mean, 4 Jennifer Lane. Yeah. So we really like a sound barrier, like highway sound barrier, which is 15 feet, 10 feet, whatever height that is,
Yep.
So the lights will cover, and also the flashlight, the floodlight they're putting is like we could see all that lighting coming into our houses.
Yeah, we have a lighting law that should cover that too.
Yeah. So, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so Henry, I'm just going to announce that if anybody else is out there that wants to speak, if you could type in the chat, just type your name and we'll get to you. The next one that's ready to speak is Cynthia Gallagher. You could unmute.
Hi everyone. My name is Cynthia Gallagher and I live at 37 Moore Street. I have a beautiful view of the UPS hub from my house. And I also have a beautiful view of the residentially zoned properties that UPS owns. So my question is, how far in are those, is your parking lot going to come to the residentially zoned property that you own?
Casey, can you answer that for him? Or Doug?
Yeah, I can speak to that, or Doug can speak to it. So I think we made the comment the last meeting. We are not encroaching on any of the residential buffer land that UPS owns between Moore Street and the UPS facility. This construction and this parking lot, this yard expansion, is strictly along the Brick Hill Road side. Again, we are not encroaching on any of the land that is on our property, our buffer residential property between us and Moore Street.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, because I'm asking because, you know, I am one of the complainers about the noise. You know, and I just want to make sure that, you know, you're not going to take down all the trees and we're going to see, you know, more lights shining, you know, to the front of our house. But you say no. And the UPS signage that you have out now, where UPS, you know, turn here, is that going to stay? Is that a permanent sign? On Brick Hill? I mean, yeah, Brick Hill. It's Brick Hill, right? Yeah.
So it could be. The goal would be for us to install a board-approved, town-approved sign that could do the same thing. But that would be a solution probably in the future. So this was a temporary solution that could be semi-permanent. So it's not going anywhere unless we're made to move it.
Okay. Okay, that's the only questions that I had. Thank you very much for your answer.
Cynthia?
Yes.
What was your address? Sorry.
37 Moore Street.
Thank you very much. Colleen, who's next? Colleen.
Colleen may be talking
I'm
to
sorry,
somebody.
I was muted. Natasha Singh, please go ahead.
This is Natasha Ramsing on behalf of my client who owns 93 Brick Hill Road. And I think, you know, what we want to know is what UPS is going to do to guarantee that there isn't going to be an increased truck capacity. Our concern is to maintain a community conducive to family growth. And with trucks, that poses a problem, especially with the noise and so forth. So is UPS guaranteeing that after they have this expansion, they're going to stay put, or are they going to continue to just expand as much as they can throughout this neighborhood?
The intention of the lot expansion is to alleviate some of the on-site congestion that the trailer's positioning currently experiences. I mean, there's actually an argument to be made that noise disruption would be minimized by this expansion in the sense that we would no longer have double parked trailers causing additional moves necessary throughout the operational day. So again, per the traffic study and the intent here, it's really more about adding additional cover for those trailers more so than it is increasing trailer count.
UPS is doing in order to provide some safety to the residents who walk or ride their bikes right there by UPS. My client's dog was actually hit by a UPS truck. So there's a big concern here that it's just not safe with those tractor trailers. Is anything going to be done to ensure some safety?
The only thing I can take and say is that the 53G account, we're trying to take and get stuff going, but that's up to the town. I guess they have nothing to do with it.
Concern obviously is the disruption of the neighborhood and the safety for the community. Those are our concerns.
Yep. All right. Thank you. Colleen, who's next?
We have Anil Patel, please. Anil?
Hello, my name is Anil Patel. I'm from 57 Brick Kiln Road, Chelmsford. Hello, how are you all board? Thank you for letting me speak up here. I have three major concerns. One, that I would like to thank the UPS people immediately taking action to put a sign over there. So that's a good thing. Also, hearing us to come up with some sort of a solution for barriers or some sort of a sound barriers. I have a simple three questions. One question is, what is the height and what elevations those barriers will be put in place? The fence barrier, noise protecting barrier. Is it going to be at the ground level? Because ground levels are about 10 or 15 feet from where the houses are sitting. So that's the first question. The second question I have is trees planting that going to happen also at what level? Is it at the higher elevation level? And what kind of trees? Is it going to be evergreen trees or the seasonal trees that will lose the leaves at the winter time? The fourth thing I have is a previous caller brought up a good point about the walking on the sidewalkways. One concern I have it is when we go for a walk or somebody passing by that bridge that leads between the open arena over there, the skate arena, and before that there is a bridge and very thickly settled bridge. So if two vehicles are crossing to each other, there is no room for anybody to walk over there. There is a very risky spot over there. At least the expansion in that area could be an ideal thing to do, and it's a less expensive things to take care. So those are my concerns. If you can help address, would be helpful.
Sure. So regarding the fence line, the fence is positioned around the property line on the north and east face of the expansion. It ranges between 8 and 12 feet in height, again, depending on the step ups for the proximity of the Jennifer Lane residents. Regarding the tree coverage, those will be, they started 8 feet in height when they planted, and they will be pines.
So height 8 to 12 feet that you have mentioned is going to be installed where? Closer to the UPS line or closer to the houses or where your border of the land is ending?
Right along the property line, closer to the homes.
Can we bring up the landscape plan?
Yes.
So if you put it to the closest to the line, houses, then you have a point of voice coming from parking lot to the houses elevation. It's going to be a direct, and your effectiveness of your sound will not be great because it's not really a barrier at that point, because houses heights are about 34 to 45 feet at the elevation level, and your parking lot is lower level. So if you go closer to where the cliffs are happening, and you will be getting a better result out of it.
Evan, I do not have share authorization according to Zoom.
I can give it to you, I think.
It's right there on the screen now.
Thank you. And Doug, I believe that the grading plan shows a berm somewhere on the property.
Correct. Basically around that buffer to the north.
Can you articulate that a bit more for everybody? The height and the.
It's actually been adjusted. It's about 4 feet above the pavement level, and then trees planted on top of that elevation and fence position on top of that elevation level. You're looking at a total of, let's say, 16 feet to the top of the fence from the parking lot pavement base.
Can the berm be made higher?
I believe it could, yes.
Without encroaching into the residential
zone? That's what I would need to look at. I know we do have some sloping challenges there. I don't know. I think we'd be relatively constrained close to what we've already attempted to provide, because we did consider maximizing, obviously, any kind of screening opportunities that we could have come up with. I don't want to commit to saying it could get higher, but we could look at it.
So if you don't put a higher and you're putting the ground from ground level, there is already a 10-foot cliff over there. It's a useless 10-foot fence over there. There is no need for it. So it's not going to work. Second thing, if you can point me where is the 4 Jennifer Lane on the plan, I will understand what kind of barrier I'm getting to my house. And of course, I'm not concerned about my house only, but something that I'm, as you looking after your basically shareholder value at the end, I'm looking after my own living over here. That is a basic need of good living. So where is the barrier? If you look at that plan, where is the barrier going? Sorry, I lost the plan.
Colleen, the landscape plan.
I thought he wanted the, to see where his house
Yeah.
was.
Yep. So that's the house, and where is the, if you point by mouse, where is the barrier going from? Where starting and where ending?
I believe it's roughly where the cursor just moved across. It's hard for me to tell from this position, but yeah.
So you are going for a whole back length, backside length, pretty much as a barrier.
It's continuous around the entire perimeter of the expansion, yes.
Okay, I think the L shape towards the Bricklin Road would be a nice to put it in, because there is an exit route of sound barrier that is reaching on my side. So something I have a concern on that, because you are covering the back side of it there right behind the house, but mine is a little bit diagonal to your parking lot over there. So that is my concern. It's probably adding only another 20 feet would cover the corner of that Bricklin Road and the Jennifer Road angle, and both will be covered. But again, if you're not putting at higher elevation, then this fence is useless. You may have to go higher height, or some variance can be applied by the owner of the property, and you'll be able to go at higher elevation. That is my request, and thank you again. But there is a bigger concern to us, and we asking for only basic need. We're not looking for share value or not looking for any return in money. Basic needs of living a peaceful at night and sleeping at night. Thank you.
Thank you. Colleen, who's next?
Paulo Verano or Paulo?
Yeah.
There you are.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yep.
Okay. So can I share my screen?
It's more of a question for Colleen.
She wants to share her screen?
Yeah.
Is that you?
Yeah, can you see my screen with the map?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I just want to put this in perspective. So I live in 5 Jennifer Circle, and this is 4 Jennifer Circle. This is on Bricklin Road. But you see, those 3 houses are very, very close to UPS. And you see there are some trees between our houses and UPS, but those are actually our trees. So I have another picture. You see, this is the current situation. This is a picture taken from my house. So you see, there is only this fence, and then there is nothing between the fence and UPS. So that's why the noise, I mean, there is nothing that is preventing the noise to go any further from the UPS facility. So I had a few questions, but they already answered. So it looks like that the fence, it will cover also the other parts of the parking lot, and I appreciate that. My only point is, I just want to make sure that the fence that we are looking into will prevent the sound. So, I'm not an expert, so if you tell me you put a fence, it could be very useful, can be useless. I'm not sure about that. So I'd like to hear more details around the fence, and I don't know if there is any study or any data that can show that the noise will be, that we will not get any other noise with respect to what we already have.
All right. Thank you for your comments.
Yeah, thank you.
Who else do we have, Colleen?
Mike Griffin?
Great. Thanks for taking some time. I guess one question or one issue that really has not been addressed yet that I'm a little curious on is the new barrier that you're proposing. It seems to come down on the side of Brick Hill and Jennifer Lane and to a lesser extent Moore Street. I know I speak on behalf of several of my neighbors when I feel like barrier is not long enough and will not help our problem with the noise, even though we're not abutting the new space. Is there something that can be done to help with the noise for people, even though we don't abut the expansion?
Doug, do you have any comments for this?
I think, the position is that we are adding a perimeter fence around the entirety of the expanded parking lot. And I think per zoning code that is basically in compliance, and then in conjunction with the fact that, Moore Street is well over 1,000 feet away from the limits of the parking lot expansion. We definitely wanted to ensure that we were sort of accommodating the more immediate proximity of Jennifer Lane, just with the factor that, again, we don't really feel that the noise would be increasing for any of the Moore Street residents, especially given the geographic positioning of the expansion and how it's actually further away from the current trailer staging.
All right.
So.
Understood, but I don't think that the question was answered. So the question was, what about the existing residents who already have the noise, and the noise is already too loud? It's not that, we're a little bit farther away, so it's tolerable. No, I hear it in the dead of winter when all my windows are closed and I can't sleep at night because of it. So what's the solution to this problem?
From what you just said to us, I believe they're not going to address other issues. That's something we can talk about as we get into this deeper. I definitely want to see that fence and see what it's going to be made of, though. So I appreciate your comment. We'll see what we can do with it.
Thank you.
Colleen.
That's all on the list. That's it.
All right. We'll go down on the board for another set of questions, answers. Anybody? Let's start with you, Hank.
I have no questions.
Tim.
Sorry. Sorry about that. I guess I don't know if they're really answering the people's questions as far as the border and stuff like that. So I mean, I would like to see UPS actually work a little bit more with the neighbors to kind of be a better neighbor. I mean, obviously they have a lot of problems with sound. I mean, I think they're working on it by willing to do stuff with the fence. I know in this time it's hard to have a meeting with the neighbors, but is there a way that, they could get a neighborhood, a representative from the neighborhood, maybe to meet with somebody from the UPS to try and work out some of their issues? It would be great to see them work it out, so that we'd feel more comfortable, voting on it. And that's all I got for now.
All right, Mike Raisback.
You're on mute, Mike.
There we go. A couple of thoughts. First one is, it looks like some reasonable progress on the noise. I think from looking at these plans and having some sense of what the sound deadening on the fence might do, it seems to me that the noise won't be any worse than it is now, and it may be somewhat better. But the concern that still remains with me is the one of the errant truck traffic. I would very much like to know if the police detail found anything, and how many people they stopped. And I'm still concerned about exactly what effective measures can be put into place to make sure that errant truck traffic goes away. Don't have an answer. It's more of a question than an answer.
Nancy.
No questions.
Mike Walsh.
I got a question for Doug, just on the engineering drawings. It looks like, can you tell me the height of the elevation of the finished pavement on the UPS new pavement, the new parking lot's gonna be versus the 4 Jennifer Lane?
Give me 1 second. I'm just skimming over to my grading plan.
It looks like you're at 140.
Yes.
And Jennifer Lane, 4 Jennifer Lane's at 146, right at the property line. So there's a 4-foot difference right away, and you got a 4-foot berm. So the berm's basically not going to do anything for the neighbors. Have you considered that?
I mean, again, the berm was positioned to try to get any kind of height that we could in the cushion that we had between our pavement and the property line, in conjunction with the landscaping and the fencing that we're also proposing.
Okay, but in order for the berm to work, you got to get above the other property line, the height of the existing conditions, and then put your trees above that, and then your fencing. So I think you got to look at that. I would consider last 2 weeks ago, the meeting, it was very disturbing to hear that all of the neighbors around here were going to bed with their things in their ears for the sound. And I do think, Casey, I think for UPS, again, thank you for being a business and probably one of the largest business owners in Chelmsford. But I think you got to, like Tim mentioned, you got to set up some kind of a communication with the neighbors. I work in the hospital industry, and all the hospitals have community outreach programs, and they have someone that they can go to on a 24-hour basis if there's an issue with the neighborhood. And I think you got to set something up here, because I didn't hear one neighbor in favor of this expansion, and it puts us in a very tough spot, because we're trying to do what's good for the neighbors as well as what's good for you. But I think you guys have got to look at that line, and I think you got to carry it down further. Then if you stop at the end of 4 Jennifer Lane, that's where that's where it looks like the pavement stops, Doug, and I think we should show that to the neighbors. That's where the expansion stops, heading towards Moore Street. It stops at the property of 4 Jennifer Lane. I think you gotta consider extending that noise barrier. It's not going to work if it's only in one little corner of the lot. So that's pretty much my concern. I'm hearing what the neighbors are saying, and I know, Casey, I'm looking at you. It's just hard for us to approve something when you get this many neighbors against a project like this. And I think we may have to go back to the drawing board before we approve this. Henry, that's all I have.
Glenn?
No, I got nothing right now.
Don? Yeah. Casey or Doug, if you can remind us, what waivers is UPS seeking?
None.
All right. And how confident or comfortable are you working with the neighbors, being a little more proactive with the neighbors? Is there anything you all can think of doing to help the situation?
Could I jump in for a moment?
Go ahead.
I would suggest that the board consider a site visit, particularly for this project. That may be something that UPS wants to open to the public as well. At a minimum, I think a site visit is warranted. I would also suggest that, I think as some board members realize, this is a typical balancing act where it's zone industrial, and yet it's a very large facility that abuts a residential neighborhood. So I think the points of the topic of discussion this evening is the one that the board and the applicant are struggling with. I wonder if there's value in a cost benefit analysis where your plan is showing a 20-foot vegetated buffer with a berm and a fence. And I think the reason you're doing that is to comply with the literal interpretation of the zoning bylaw. And I think what you're hearing and what we're struggling with is that that may not be an effective means of providing screening and buffering. So I wonder if it's worthwhile trying to find a design solution that doesn't involve what you're proposing and is more of a traditional sound barrier, and maybe present the kind of the cost benefit analysis to the board, assuming that it, is somewhat of an even exchange. And I think that's something that the board needs to begin to provide some more guidance to the applicant, and maybe that site visit serves that purpose.
I would agree with you. I think a site visit would be great. Then we could at least really have our eyes on what's going on, if that would be all right with UPS. And I would like to see what that the sound barrier fence is actually going to be.
So Casey, are there better days and times to do a site visit for this particular purpose?
I'll have to look. I mean, right now it's pretty impressive what we got going on over here. So I'll have to talk to obviously our PR department, some of the other shareholders about the size of the group, how safe it could be, where we would go, where you'd want to go. So we can reach back out to you and kind of get all the specifics. But we welcome a site visit. I don't know if it's reasonable to have every neighbor to be on that site visit, but maybe a representation from a neighborhood watch or a neighborhood group. But yeah, we're wide open, full disclosure of what we want to do. Again, just to remind the board, UPS owns the residential land between Moore Street and UPS. Those are land plots that will never be developed, are residentially zoned. We will not sell them. We will not do anything. We have committed to being a good neighbor, especially to Moore Street. And now hearing the concerns about the Jennifer Lane residents, the 57 Brick Kiln Lane resident, and their concerns on our expansion, we're willing to do what it takes to stay a good neighbor. But again, there is 1,200 feet between Moore Street and the expansion, and there is residential property between Moore Street and our property. So they don't abut us, they abut the property that we own. So I just want to make that clear. But back to your point, yeah, we welcome a site visit. We would just have to figure out the logistics.
I think generally for the board, Saturdays work best from experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not working as much. Other than
Yes, Saturdays are fine, but I have a question.
Yeah.
Thanks, Henry. Starting a site as a van ride as opposed to a walking tour, given the nature.
You're breaking up on us again awful. Like you were looking for a van tour instead of a walking tour. Is that what you were asking for?
I didn't catch all of that, but I'm not sure with COVID that the van is the way to go.
Yeah.
Be more appropriate given the nature that.
Well, we have to take and work it out with UPS anyways. They have
With-
parties. They got people they got to talk to and figure it out.
But I hesitate to see a bunch of people walking in those parking areas.
That's why UPS has to handle it.
Henry?
Yeah.
I have one of the abutters that's asking if they could stake out the site so they could see the fence locations.
So Casey, I guess what they're looking for is, that's the whole idea of having a site visit is we can meet there with the people. I can understand them wanting to stake it out. We've done balloon heights and stuff, but.
Yeah, the only thing that would change on our fence location, I think Doug can speak to this a little bit better. The fence that's currently there is going to be pretty much where the fence is going to be. So that's the extent of our property. We're not going anywhere past that fence line.
Yeah.
So where the fence is now is where the fence is going to be, especially along Jennifer Lane. Doug, is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you. All right. So our homework is to see if we can get a site visit. I think that would answer a lot of the questions about the neighborhood, and we could actually have our eyes on it. I'd like to see what the material is going to be for the sound dampening for the fence. Hopefully we'll have something coming along with that. And
More information on the police detail, the results of that.
anything else to add to the list?
I would just ask the board if they can agree before we end this meeting on tentative dates so that I can approach. If this Saturday, next Saturday, if there's a way to get those tentative dates that I could present to UPS.
I am not around this Saturday, but I'm around anytime after that. Glenn, you got anything coming up?
No, I should be around.
Mike Walsh?
I'm good. Whatever we can, I'll make it work when we set something up.
Donald?
Yeah, it depends on the time.
Mike? Back. You gonna take your 8N over there?
Sure, go putting over.
Nancy?
I'm okay.
Hank?
I can't make Saturday, but I already went through the area myself, so.
We're talking about the 20th, I believe, right?
Oh, okay, the 20th, hold on.
Henry said he's not available this Saturday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the 20th works.
Tim?
I'm good, 20th.
Does that help you, Casey?
Yes, it does. I will present to our team the 20th, and an alternative would be the 27th, I would imagine.
Yep.
So yes, thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Henry?
So we've got our homework. I guess we can close this and move on.
I think you're looking for a motion to continue.
Yep.
So motion to continue to the next meeting?
Second.
That was Glenn and Mike Raisback. All in favor? Go to the roll call again. Glenn Cole.
Yeah.
Can I make a statement? Just before you plan to do it the next meeting, if we don't have the site walk on the 20th, your next meeting would be the 24th. Should we, and again, I'm not speaking for the board, should you continue to the following meeting?
If you're fine with that, right?
Yeah.
All right, we'll change
If
it
it
to the
doesn't work.
following meeting.
I would suggest you continue to the 24th. If the site visit doesn't take place, then we'll ask the applicant to request a continuance to July 8th.
All right. All right, roll call again. Glenn.
Aye.
Nancy. Mike Raisback.
Aye.
Michael Walsh.
Aye.
Don.
Aye.
Jim.
Aye.
Hank.
Aye.
Me too. Aye. We'll
Aye.
see you shortly, hopefully. All right. Next on the agenda.
Henry, can I bother just a second, Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
There's a Catherine that's in the text area, and she had questions about crabapple hearing. She just had a couple of questions for you.
Already voted on it.
I understand, but she said that it wasn't open up to the public, so she didn't know when she could speak.
All right, let us speak.
Catherine, go ahead and unmute. Catherine, now's your time.
All right.
I did what I was supposed to do.
All right.
We can come back to her if she can get
Yeah.
connected.
What do we got next, Colleen?
We have historic bylaw preservation.
So this was just put on the agenda to inform the board that at the board, based upon the board's vote at the last meeting, the public hearing is being advertised for July 8th. So those legal ads are going in, and the planning board public hearing will open on July 8th.
All right.
I'd like to add something on that, Henry.
Yep.
This was discussed at the Historical Commission night, and they plan to do a detailed review on it and supply comments at their
When is the next meeting?
That's
Will
what I'm looking at for dates. I'm going to say it is after July 8th, because the 8th is the, their meeting would be the second Tuesday, and the 7th is, so I think this is too early to obtain comments from the Historical Commission. Comments from the Historic Commission.
All right. So what would be the next meeting out, Evan?
Oh, well, we'll open it on the 8th.
Yeah.
The board doesn't need to take any testimony or deliberate, but we need to open it.
I think we should hear from historic, though.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But procedurally, because the legal ads have gone in, you'll open it on the 8th. You know, maybe you want to discuss it a little bit. Maybe there are people from the public that are looking to engage with the board. It sounds like you're going to be continuing to wait to hear from the Historical Commission.
Absolutely.
Is that a line comparison on between 2019 by and this one that I reviewed with them.
Nancy's still getting about
I can't hear her. Oh my.
All right. All right. So I guess we'll take in.
Evan or distribution.
All right. So Nancy, you'll email Evan and tell him what you're trying to get across.
I already did.
All right.
I'll forward that out to the board.
All right. All right. What's next?
So the next item is the Route 3 interchange study RFP. Evan, do you want to present this?
Yep. So this is in your packet. If you recall, many months ago, I had met with the board and indicated that I would be circling back with the planning board to give the board an opportunity to review this prior to an RFP being issued. Prior to coming to you, the master planning committee has reviewed it. The Economic Development Committee has reviewed it. I provided it out to the Route 40 committee, and Selectwoman Virginia Timmons and I have had a conversation. So she has reviewed it. All of those comments that I've received to date are reflected in this version. So just to refresh your memory, this was a state planning grant that we applied for about a year ago to study the 3 interchanges along Route 3, not including Route 129. So the interchange at Chelmsford Street, the interchange at Drum Hill, and the interchange at Groton Road, Route 40. It is a market analysis, so it is not a traditional planning, zoning, land use study. It's intended to be a data-driven market analysis, not based upon preferences, but data. The goal and intent here is to provide information to stakeholders and decision makers in the town of Chelmsford. Obviously, that includes the planning board and other boards and committees, so that the town understands what the future of these 3 interchanges may be based upon local and regional marketplaces. Food for thought. What's the future of Drum Hill? What's the future of big box retail? at Chelmsford Street and Drum Hill, looking out 10 years from now. So that's kind of the goal and intent of the study. Procedurally, the RFP indicates that there will be an advisory board that interfaces with the consultant. So unlike a typical planning process where either the planning board or the EDC is designated to interface with the consultant, this will likely be a makeup of a member of the planning board, a member of the EDC, someone from the Board of Selectmen, someone from each property owner and interested party from each interchange, just to provide some kind of as a listening board for the consultant. So at the end of the day, we'll receive a deliverable. It's essentially a market analysis, and then the town can figure out what it wants to do with this information, if anything. I'm also scheduled to appear before the Board of Selectmen on Monday night to present this.
All right. Anybody have any questions?
Henry, I have something else. I just received an email about someone, resident, that tried to call in for the Devonshire hearing, and I'll just read you the email real quickly. Very disappointed regarding the planning board meeting tonight. I tried to phone in regarding the 35 Devonshire application and no one answered. There is a concern on Waverly about the application, and yet I had no way to voice my concerns. I and several other residents have issues with this, and no one could get through to the meeting. I will be forwarding letters to the planning board regarding the obvious concerns about this application and hope to have your support moving forward. Please contact me if you'd like to discuss. Chris King.
Yeah, Tim, if you're able to forward that to me, I will personally reach out to the abutter.
Just hit something. Okay.
What I'll do is I'll wait to engage with the abutters, see what their concerns are before issuing the decision for the planning board's review. Hopefully whatever their concerns are, the board has addressed this evening. If you recall, Devonshire, the board voted to approve a plan that complies with setbacks.
I don't think we did, well, we satisfied them because I got this just like a minute ago. So I'll send it to you and you can.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
And we can also do the same thing for Crabapple.
Yeah,
I think Colleen has the person's contact information. So we'll reach out to the people who weren't able to connect with the board this evening.
So is the problem that we only have like 1 or 2 phone lines that come in if they're trying to call? It's like one phone number, right?
There's one line. There's 2 lines. There's a New York Zoom number, and then there's a local 978 number. And I think this has been a common deficiency or challenge with running the Zoom meetings across the board is the call-ins.
Is there, Evan, is there a way to if somebody is going to want to speak, to maybe email ahead of time so that, or do they already do that?
No, that's a good suggestion. I think what we've been discussing moving forward with Zoom is on the agenda to specifically put in what Tim's saying, that you can email the chair or a staff person prior to the meeting with your questions or comments or concerns.
I think it's going to be important for us not to be taking letters and stuff to at
Sure.
the last possible minute.
Right, but
we've
Tim's
run into
suggestion is
this
a good
so
one.
many times. You know, if what's in front of us either has to be in front of us with several days to prepare for, or not at all.
Right. Right.
Because if we get a set of plans, we should have them available for viewing or what we're dealing with.
Right. So we are making adjustments to the Zoom to try and encourage people to email prior to the meeting.
All right.
So your next meeting is the 24th. We're going to do reappointments for board members. And then there's several, the master plan committee needs to be reappointed as well. Pile Drive endorsement of their final plans will be coming into the board. Route 40 duplex definitive subdivision, public hearing opens. And the Oddfellows Fisk new multifamily public hearing opens on the 24th.
Evan, Catherine is still on the line from Crabapple. She did call in and was able to get in.
All right, let her go.
Hi, thank you for entertaining my questions. We actually have two. We're one of the abutters, and we have a question regarding, is there a regulation regarding the number of cars that can be stored on that property? Because we're a little concerned with the prospect of it could be 6 or more cars on that property.
We only regulate unregistered vehicles. You can have no more than one.
Unregistered.
Unregistered.
Okay, so there's no maximum on the number of registered cars?
Correct.
Okay, and the second question we had is, as we look at the plot lines, we're questioning why is there a need for variance, and why wouldn't the property owner just have to put the garage on the property within his plot lines?
That's exactly what the applicant and planning board agreed to do this evening. Revise the plan so that it complies 100%. No variance is necessary.
Evan, that was.
Okay, because I thought he was.
Oh, I
Okay.
apologize. Yes, Crabapple received the ZBA approval.
It was a special permit. He did move it by 5 feet to make it a special permit instead of a variance.
Okay, so that special permit is an exception?
And that was the
Is
zone.
that what that means?
That was a Board of Appeals, not us.
Correct. You should have received, Catherine, you should have received a separate abutter notice for a zoning board meeting that previously took place.
Okay, well, we did not. So I guess I follow up with the Board of Appeals?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'll do that. Thank you. That's all.
All right, have a good evening. All right, so is that about wiping up? Oh,
Henry?
she's got her hand up. We can see the hand. Can't you talk?
Question for Evan for clarification. Vehicles? One vehicle on or not in.
We get about a third of what you're saying, Nancy.
All right. I'll skip it.
All right. Do we got any other business that we need to get done?
Just meeting minutes.
Get some minutes.
Yeah. Anybody? I went through them. Anybody have any questions?
Nothing. Want a motion?
Sure.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve the minutes, February 26, 2020.
Do we have a second?
And then executive session before we
go away.
Yep.
Do I have a second on the minutes?
A second.
Tim. All right. Got a roll call again. Glenn.
Yep.
Mike Walsh.
Aye.
Mike Raisbeck.
Yeah.
Nancy.
Aye.
Hank.
Yeah.
Tim.
Yes.
Donald. I approve too. All right. So now we got to go into executive session. So we got to get off the media. And we've never done this before, so I don't know how we're going to get around this.
Pine Hill and the Warren Pole property. I don't know the specific address. I think that's on the agenda.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to enter the executive session.
You have to do roll call to go in.
I give you a motion to enter into executive session.
Have a second.
Second.
Glenn,
Yep.
Mike, Walt,
Yep.
Yes.
Mike Raisbeck, Nancy,
Yep.
Hank,
Aye.
Tim,
Yes.
Donald.
Yes.
So it's up to you to clear the room, Colleen.
Give me just a couple of minutes and we'll be there.